stride.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mortgage and Real Estate Podcast by the Pinnacle Loans. My name is Chris Giannino, and I am joined here today by my brother Pete Giannino, a real estate attorney, a real estate professional, mortgage loan officer, a wordsmith, and a contract specialist. I'm also joined today by Bill Lally. He's also my brother-in-law and friend for the past, best friend since 30 years ago. Bill is a mastermind in business, a real estate professional, a MBA. And today we are going to discuss topics in real estate that we've touched on a little bit in the past, but we know what's going on in this market. We know what the characteristics of this market are, but now we want to touch on a little bit further. How do we overcome some of these obstacles or these challenges in this market? Pete, Bill, great to be with you guys. How's it going?
Very good, Chris. Thanks for the introduction.
Going good.
Happy to be here. Really excited to talk about today's topic because it addresses what everyone is talking about, and that is the condition of the real estate market. What are you hearing from your clients, your referral sources, realtors, builders? What are you hearing as far as the biggest challenges that people are seeing in today's market?
The biggest challenge that's going on is what I'm hearing is inventory. Inventory has always been one of the issues for sure. So you have a lot of buyers. We do have a lot of buyers out there. That's keeping the values of the homes up because of the demand. The inventory, it's supply and demand. The inventory is low. It always it's never been, actually the Missouri market has been adequate. You know, there's some markets that really have pain right now with inventory. Luckily, we're blessed with having some good family-owned building companies spread out through the state that have helped maintain some inventory. The traditional residential house, I think people are happy with their interest rate right now, and I think the biggest challenge is why would I move?
Yeah, you might be happy with your rate, perhaps, but looking for a different home.
And because of the number of buyers out there, even the people that we have pre-approved, we know that even with the interest rates that people have, they're still willing and able buyers. But say I have a house and I have a good rate, I'm willing to part with it. Maybe I'm going to keep it as a rental. Who knows? But it seems like. But how do I get into that house? What are some of my options? Or no, let's even take it a step further. Let's say that I would prefer to sell my house and get into a new home. What steps could I take? Because I think the number one pitfall is I would like to do that, but how am I going to? I would like to sell my house, but where am I going to go? Pete and I were talking a couple of days ago. One thing you could do is you could, because here's the deal. It seems like if a house is ready to go in a great place that is updated and desirable location, there's going to be 20 to 30 offers on it. So if your house is one of those houses and you're willing to sell it, you're not concerned if you can sell it or not. So what you want to do is maybe you're in the driver's seat. So if I'm selling my house, I might say I'm willing to sell this house for top price, but I want the buyer to agree to close maybe in 65 or 70 days. So they agree to that contract, and that gives me 65 to 70 days to find a new house going into the spring. So I'm much more inclined to feel confident that I could find a house in that manner, in that time frame, especially if I'm working with a lender like the Pinnacle Loans. Shameless plug, but that's the truth. We can close quickly. So if you find a house and you got to close in 2 weeks, well, we can make that happen. And that's an advantage of working with a lender like that, to be honest with you. So
yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I want to say
option.
the deals that have happened have all been quick closings. Because then you're competing, you're more on a level playing field with even a cash buyer. If you can close in a week, which we can with no problem, then it puts you back in the driver's seat. So most of the deals that have closed, the purchase deals that have closed, have been deals that have been quick. That's been my experience. I don't know about you guys.
So maybe
much.
one side of it's a long closing because you say, hey, I'll agree to sell it to you, but I want to have time to find another house. So that's a longer close. And then for that person, when they do find their house, that's got to be a quick close.
Well, yeah, and at the same time, if you're selling your house, know that we can close loans in 7 days. So if you're selling your house and maybe you want an offer on a 30-day contract and somebody comes in, you have 25 days, 24 days or so, 20 plus days to sell your house. And if you still haven't sold it and you get the contract on the 21st day, well, we can close that loan, no problem. Do a simultaneous close on your 30-day purchase. So that's the other thing that I've been telling people and referral partners and things is that if you are win a contract with a 20-day close, you know that when you put that house up for sale, you're going to have immediate traffic. And in order to make it possible, you're going to take, Pinnacle Loans can close in 7 days. This is if as long as your lender can close the loan in 7 days, absolutely, you will win that contract. If not, Pinnacle has offered to pre-approve and also close the loans in 7 days for any buyers that come to my house to buy. So, and they also have a lower rate guarantee. So they're going to make sure that they're going to provide you with an even better deal anyway. And so the people who are selling houses out there right now, you need to have a quick close option as well to make sure that your buyers aren't stuck without selling. You have to push back your closing because you couldn't sell the house fast enough. I mean, there's no way that you can't sell it. Almost any house you're putting on the market right now is still selling within days, as long as you know it's priced right. The buyers are there, they're hungry. And you know why they're hungry? They're hungry because rent is astronomical. The biggest thing is, if you have, why there's buyers right now is they don't want to rent. That's why there's so many buyers. They don't want to rent. They understand renting is paying somebody else's mortgage.
So basically what you're saying is one thing is if for one option, if you want to buy a house and you want to be in the driver's seat because when you sell your house, you might not have a place to go. One option is to set yourself up, since you are in the driver's seat when selling, set yourself up with the 65 or 70 day close if needed, and then you will have time to find the new house. The second thing is, what you could do is you could sell it to somebody and then rent it back from them. In the agreement, you could have a situation where you sold it to them, but they agreed to allow you to still live in your house and rent it back to them. So that way you have the cash needed to buy the new house. You're able to eliminate that payment from your debt to income ratio for qualifying purposes. And it gives you time to find your desired house and then and win that contract. And then I think Pete said something about, and I think this is true, but in Missouri at least, what is it? It's like local listing day. Everybody's supposed to list their house on the 15th, and that's supposed to be a boom in inventory.
Yeah, and that's gonna when that happens, and as much as we've been hearing about it, I think when that happens, we're gonna see a surge in inventory, which is gonna create a lot more activity, a lot more confidence in sellers who then become buyers, because when the sellers are a little paralyzed with inactivity because they want to list their home, but they are afraid that nothing will be available to buy. Local listing day, when it causes a groundswell of activity and a lot more signs in yards, that those opportunities to buy will increase dramatically. So again, we're talking about, just to recap, Bill, I'm going to come back to you because you started out talking about 7-day closes, 25-day closes, what have you. Let's just, and then Chris talked about maybe a 70-day close. So for people right now interested in buying a home, and interested in selling a home, but not sure they'll have something to buy, why won't they consider a 70-day close? What's the advantage of that?
Well, I mean, it's going to give them time to find a house to get under contract. But here's the deal. And this is important because that's great, but you have to still win that contract. And there's ways to do it. I can tell you right now, there's ways to strengthen your offer and win that contract. One way to do it right now is to make sure whoever you're working with on the real estate side communicates with the listing agent to find out what is the most important thing that the seller wants. Sometimes that's not even communicated. You find out what they want, and then you give them what they want.
Yeah, it's not always price. Obviously, price helps, but it could be eliminating an inspection contingency. It could be eliminating an appraisal contingency, or like Bill alluded to before, it could be they want to just close very quickly. And you have to be, as a potential buyer, you have to be positioned well to be able to include any of those attractive features in your offer. How do you do that?
Right. And as agents, you need to be prepared to have an option. If it comes down to 10 days, we all know, the hassle of if you have to ask somebody to push back a closing, sometimes that's not even feasible because it's multiple families or plans and appointments and everything have to be broken, and it's a headache. You have to be able to have a solution when you get down to the 10 days to go mark, when you didn't put a loan contingency, you didn't put any contingencies on the offer probably because you needed to get it and you were confident on it, you need to have, and the answer is Pinnacle. Pinnacle's the only one that I know that can day in and day out close in 7 days with no problem. Now,
do you have any affiliation with Pinnacle or anything like that?
I am not a majority owner of Pinnacle. I am I do, what do they say? Like I'm a contributor. I am a contributor.
That's something.
Yeah, I'm a contributor to the, and I have been a contributor for a while. But Pinnacle is, I've been in the industry long enough. We did what we did. Our whole mission was to create the quickest contract to close time frame in the industry to provide this advantage for people and to make the process not so cumbersome and long and drawn out and,
Well, also strategizing with whatever real estate professional is working on the transaction to come up with a game plan that is truly specific to an individual situation to win a contract. I mean, in this market, here's the situation. If I'm buying a house in this market, I'm looking at a house. I get the inspection, or I get an inspection maybe for viewing purposes only. But if I really want the house, I mean, here's the deal. It is what it is. I can't have a financing contingency is a thing in the past. I don't think we've worked with any buyers that we have financing contingencies with on our end because we have them pre-approved. They're ready to go. It's just the way it is. The market requires that right now. If I lose my job and I have a financing contingency, if I lose my job after the financing contingency, I'm in the exact same spot that I was if I lost my job without a financing contingency. It's the same exact thing. And when I think about the inspections, I always think to myself, all right, I'm going to look at this house. If I'm looking at a $600,000 house, it looks like it's really well maintained. It's structurally sound. I could tell the current owners are proud of what they have, and that's how they have lived in this house with a sense of pride. Then I make a judgment call. If a $15,000 or $20,000 repair is needed in the next year to 2 years, would I still want this house? And if the answer is yes, then I would remove my inspection contingency because I'm going to have to if I actually want the house. If I could take it or leave it and the house wasn't maintained well, then, and I don't want to take on that much risk, then I'll just put in the inspection contingency knowing that I likely won't win the contract.
Right. I mean, it really, going back to what Chris is saying, so you're looking at it two different ways. I mean, you say, okay, I need more time to make sure that I find the house that I want. What we're getting into, and then the other way is I need to be able to close quick if I find something that I want. That's one strategy. One is I'm going to sell my house first, and I need time. So it's exactly right. There's two different ways. So what we're doing is we're boiling down kind of what fits into what you need to do and have an answer for you. And I think really it's if you have the quickness on your side, it will make everything make sense. The quickness is what you need.
Well, it gives you options. Gives
now
you flexibility.
Because here, if you go out, even if you go out and you say a 20-day close, say a 20-day close with no loan contingency, no inspection contingency, and quite frankly, no appraisal contingency is another one that we're not seeing for the most part. Make sure that it's priced right, and you should be fine. But you take away all your contingencies and you close in 20 days, for the most part, you're going to win that contract. Now, if you're completely ready to put a sign in that yard right after you get that contract, you can close and you can have your buyers buy the house in 7 days. They can close in 7 days with us. I mean, we don't need to have all their documents 30 days before or anything like that. We're talking about 7 business days. 7 business days from the time that they put a contract in with Pinnacle Loans. So now you put a sign in the yard. You'll have offers immediately. If it's most everybody that's listening that's going to have a house that would sell. Everything's going to sell right now. Anything's going to sell. There's plenty of buyers. I got an agent right here to ask, saying I got 8 buyers. There's no inventory. I got 8 buyers. So here's the thing. Go out, put a 15 business day close on a house. Be ready to sell your house right away. You know it's going to close, and list it. And know Pinnacle Loans can close it in 7 days. If you're working with maybe another broker, if you're working with another professional that has over 40 years of combined experience that Pinnacle does, then they could probably figure it out as well. I do know this from everybody that I've seen. From all of the competition, from being vice presidents in numerous different banks throughout my years, from running big teams of 20, from running $150 million volume a year with multiple loan officers, I'll tell you this. Never before did we ever compete with or were we ever as good as we are right now. Never before were we able to close as fast as we can right now, with as competitive of rates that we've ever had, and never, ever. So I will say that there really is only one team out there that can boast what we boast. We are the broker owners of Missouri. We started, basically, when we first started being brokers in Missouri, there were 6 in the state. 6. And most of them were one-man operations, and that's fine and dandy, you know.
Well, I mean, think about this too. When you're, like sometimes you'll get a call, and people in this environment are shopping interest rate too. Like, hey, I would like to work with you. I like what you have to say. Shopping interest rate, and they're not under contract or anything like that. Well, we know that rates went up to 7.375%. Then they went down to 5.9%. Now they went back up, and they're somewhere in between. In certain situations, we could be on the lower end. Certain situations, banks are going to be on the higher end. But there's really no sense in shopping that rate right now. What I've noticed recently with all of the people that we've been able to work with and strategize with to get under contract, it's much more than that. Like literally, as far as the rate goes, we're going to be able to provide you with the best, most competitive rate. Maybe somebody can match us, but very, very, very seldom would you ever find someone who would be able to beat you. So my takeaway from that is the strategy leading up to the purchase, the sale. Should I rent my current home and keep my 2.75% rate and then buy a new one? Should I sell it? How long do you think you're going to be in the house? Should we remove this contingency? Can I get pre-approved for a higher amount? Should we remove the appraisal contingency? All of those aspects are what you're really going to want to make sure you're working with a professional that knows what to do, because when you become emotionally attached to that house, or your wife or family or your husband really sees themselves in that home, you want to make sure you are in the strongest position to actually win that contract. Here's the thing. You don't know that until you're actually in that spot, though, because when the right place comes along, you can't plan it. It just shows up, and you just got to be ready.
Yeah. Of course, we urge you to use Pinnacle, and we think that puts you in the strongest position to win a contract and to close on time and to close fast and do whatever needs to be done to get you in the house you want to be in, just like Chris and Bill have explained. The overall message, don't refuse to sell right now because buying is too competitive. Don't make the conclusion that buying is too competitive. Heck, if you want it to be competitive, because we can equip you with the tools to win any competitive situation. And if you're worried about inventory, we have solutions for that we've touched on. If you're worried about interest rates, we have solutions for that. Keep your home, keep your existing home, rent it out, keep that interest rate. Think about what you're comparing interest rates to. You're comparing interest rates to the ones from the refinance boom, which occurred in the last 2 years. All the people, including us and the listeners, all of those people at some point had interest rates that are comparable to the ones that we have now. And then they refinanced. We expect that opportunity will exist again in the future for refinancing. Get the house you want, and we're going to equip you with the tools to do it.
Well, and I think the reason that rents are so high right now, when we're talking about one reason renters would prefer to buy right now, and one reason owners would prefer to rent out properties right now, is right now one reason rents are going up is because homeowners are now purchasing properties at higher interest rates, which means that demands a higher rent in many cases. But if you do have your current home or your previous home or whatever the case is, locked in at a lower interest rate at that 2.75%, and you elect not to sell that home, but to keep it, now all of a sudden you're winning on both ends because you have inflated rent payments on the lowest rates of all time. So that is a tremendous opportunity. You could sell your house if you wanted to try and use that cash for the down payment on the next one or a lump sum. But if you do decide to rent it, that's a very attractive option. And if you have a lease agreement ahead of time, we can use that income to offset the payment of the new home and help you get qualified. So it's a lot of options, but it's not all about, hey, what's your rate? What's your rate? What's your rate? We like to compete with price, but we are fully vested in the families we work with. I don't want this to sound like a total sales pitch, you know what I mean? But honestly, it's a hot topic right now. And every family we've worked with has required attention to their situation. I mean, it's just each situation is a little bit different. And now it seems like, from my experience in this industry, which has been 17 years, right now, the unique strategies that are required to either win a house, sell a house, or rent a home is a big difference, whether you're going to be successful at it or not. So just make sure you're looking at all options would be my suggestion. Think about strategically where you're at and where you want to get to, because there's a lot of options there that you may or may not have thought about.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, it definitely stopped from being like this refinance, boom of what it was. I mean, multiple refinances. I'm thinking that the people that were actually getting the refinances were tired of refinance. I mean, there were like 4 or 5 refinances
it starts to feel
2
like,
years.
should I keep doing this?
Gosh, dang, man.
But they're glad they did now.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's one of our big strengths is that each one of our clients, we have the finger on the pulse for every single. Green light. We made it so easy that we literally get a green light pop up on your file that tells you and breaks it down for all the cost analysis. That tells you that you have a green light to refinance right now. Right now would be smart for you to refinance, and here's why. And every single one of our clients multiple times refinance with us and are in a better spot today. Well, think about all those businesses that you maybe did business with, the Keller Mortgages of the world, who are basically just went under or sold to Omaha. and massive amounts of mortgage companies that are no longer with you today. You're not going to have the green light, from those companies, and you're not going to have that touch of real people with real kids on real soccer teams at real schools, right here in the community on the St. Louis Hill. We'll be having parties. We're going to have parties on the Hill for most all home games for St. Louis City. 2020 Marconi. I don't know if we're going to do how big we're going to do. We'll see how the team is, right? We'll see. I mean, we have to talk about that.
Yeah, why aren't we talking
about
about
soccer? We're going to be basically
right
the
now?
clubhouse for St. Louis City. Home games, maybe even away games, I don't know. But we are located, our office is located on the Hill at 2020 Marconi. And
about 5 minutes from the stadium.
Yeah, about 5, and that's a walk.
Well, are you still?
We did score some front row tickets that we will also be probably raffling off or giving.
You should walk on this next year. You should try and walk on.
I'm going to run on.
I'm going to run still?
Well, I'm going to run on the field. I got one good sprint.
Oh, you're going to run.
Oh, yeah, for
That's
sure.
different. Yeah.
For sure.
No, I got you. Pinnacle shirt.
Watch us. We're in section 144.
And 143.
Right? Row 1. I think it's seat like 4 and 5 or something. Row 1, section 144. Watch for Pinnacle.
Yeah, you'll have to look during the stadium because whenever you do that on TV now, I think they move the cameras. They don't show the
people.
Yeah, the people when they run on the field anymore.
No, I'll do it like on a corner kick. They have no chance. I'll block the corner kick. I'll block the corner kick.
Oh yeah, that's good, smart.
Not the city corner kick, but
No.
Yeah.
I do plan on blocking some corner kicks.
But that's gonna be so fun. I mean, it's like going to be a reunion down there.
We're probably going to do the podcast. We probably will be doing some live podcasts during the games and stuff, just because we're
Absolutely.
Do
there.
you think they're going to be good the first year or not?
No.
Okay.
No, I'll say this. With the way that the MLS has the playoffs with the top 9 teams, there's only 29 or 30, something like that. 20. Top 9 teams make the playoffs. I do think we have an opportunity to make the playoffs, and that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, what an atmosphere.
But I can't, from the massive amount of love of the game, from the massive amount of experience that I have in the game of soccer, I cannot think that you're going to get a group of people, a new group, to perform in a championship type play in the first season. That would be, unless there's some just incredibly gelled, the team's just incredibly gelled and works perfect.
The good news is this town's pretty hungry for professional soccer.
Right. I do think, though, that you could probably pick out some local soccer guys that could win the championship at the MLS, just because of how much soccer we have.
Yeah, the talent in this town.
Are we officially the mortgage provider for City?
Yes.
Or is that...
No, yeah.
I don't know if that had completed yet or not. I know you were working on that.
We are. We are the official home loan provider for City, and we're happy to have that. Happy to share that.
Okay. Was there anything in particular, or did you just kind of just
anybody? So basically, anybody who has season tickets receives the red carpet treatment.
Oh, I like that.
St. Louis City.
So let's recap and wrap it up. Pete, can you give us a little breakdown of what people need to get out of this?
Hey, real quick.
Podcast.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, well, hold on, everybody. Hold on. Go ahead.
One thing I just have to say. Because Pinnacle does have the front row, okay, we also were at the Blues Blackhawks Game 7, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. Game 7 Blues Blackhawks series. Christopher, Giannino, and myself literally secured that win for the Blues by how much we were screaming at the goalie and getting the goalie completely out of whack. I mean, he was completely out of whack that whole. We had people the entire time on the way out saying, you guys were amazing. Kids literally wanting our autographs. Like, you are the most amazing thing. And
I'm glad you brought that up, Bill.
Yeah.
I don't think you have gotten the credit that you deserve
Thank
for
you.
that. And it's
and it will happen at City, is what I'm saying.
Long overdue.
I'm close enough now.
In the first row.
We can take the goalie completely out of the game. So the home games, I feel bad for the goalies, and I also feel bad for the people going over to take corner
12th
kicks.
man.
We are the 12th man for the City. And so, yeah, I think we're going to have a great home record because of that. And you, mark my words, watch the home games. Watch the heckling going on from that front row. This is St. Louis, baby. This is our town, our city. It's on. Charlotte, never heard of you.
Home opener, just a side note, is on Bill Lally's birthday, so hopefully we
March
get a little
4th.
extra luck on that day.
43.
Like it.
All right, Pete, wrap us up, man.
Yeah. Well, again, thanks for joining us. Again, don't refuse to sell because you think buying is too competitive. We have solutions. We have options. You have the opportunity to keep your interest rate. You have the opportunity to win the deals. You have the opportunity to enhance your portfolio and use Pinnacle Home Loans. Oh, before we sign off, don't forget March 15th, local listing day.
Live the dream.